Hi guys, and today I'm at Bicester Heritage because there's a little bit of a track facility out here, and guess what I've got to drive on that? Yes, this. And this is not a replica, this is an actual Porsche 356. In fact, this was a matching numbers car. I say was because I don't know if anybody's noticed, but it's got electrogenic stickers on this. Yes, we've had a lot of discussion lately about converting classic cars to electric, but the one thing, I've talked a lot about it, I've talked to a lot of experts about it, I've gone to see a few of these and I've ridden in one or two, but I haven't actually driven one. So thanks to Electrogenic, today I'm going to be driving the Porsche 356 that they converted only about a few months ago for a customer. To convert this is a cost of up to around £50,000, but they already have the kit because it's pretty much the same as what they would put into a Beetle. Adds a little bit weight to the car, 36 kilowatt battery, but 120 brake horsepower. Everything else is retained. So the gearbox is still there, the suspension is the same, the brakes are the same, everything is retained, everything is normal, non-power assisted steering, all the rest of it, everything is there. This car is beautiful. I think it's a pristine example, so everything is there. It can be reverted back to petrol engine if you wish to do so. It can be done, but I've heard that the client is so happy with this and he's got quite a collection, he might be doing one or two more of them. Anyway, this car is a 1967 Porsche 356, as I've said, recently converted, 36 kilowatt battery, and it has a range of up to about 150 miles on a full charge, and you charge it from where the petrol filler cap used to be, right there, so you can plug that in. Inside is pretty much exactly the same, and the only way you can tell is if you open the glove box and there's a display in there, but otherwise it's exactly as you would expect it to be. So the pros and cons of converting classics to electric. Well, those people against it will say that, well, you've ripped out its heart. It's not the same thing anymore. The emotion is gone. The whole point of it is its engine. All of that I can't really disagree with. On the other hand, people will say, yes, but it's easier to use, it'll start, it'll go, it's cleaner, there's no fumes and there's no noise, and actually it's a lot quicker as well. Well, we're going to find that out, so we're going to take it for a little bit of a drive and see what it's like and see if I'm swayed one way or the other right after this. Porsche 356. It's the first time I'm actually doing a 356, let alone an electric conversion of a classic car. So this is the first time at Bicester Heritage. They have a track facility out the back, so we are going to take the car out onto there. So it's got a manual gearbox. Everything is original on this car apart from obviously the drivetrain. So the same battery, same brakes, the original brakes are there. The gearbox is the actual gearbox. I don't need first gear, so it's in third gear at the moment. So I'm just going to take the handbrake is off. The car is on. I can just hear the whirring of the battery in the background. So it's ready to go. So it's in third gear. So actually you can move off in third gear. Yeah, here we go. It's moving. Not the quickest thing in third gear, but it is moving. So this is my first time out onto here. So just do an exploratory run first. Here we go. So we are nice and comfortable. It's interesting in the 356, massive steering wheel, massive, like dustbin lid massive, and no power assistance, so that's quite heavy. Quite a bit of space. It's a bit cozy for two people, but I'm 6'2" and obviously with long legs, but no issues at all with the space. Plenty of space indeed, no problem at all. Good visibility as you always get in old cars, all around. You know, you just look around and you can see everything. Now, they put battery pack in the front, the motor in the rear is replaced, and just behind the rear seats there's a bit of space where they have put the batteries as well. In front of me, I just get the traditional dials. Batteries take a little, the brakes take a little bit of pushing to get used to them, but that's always the case with older cars. Okay, so we've done one lap like that. When I get to the top of the straight, I might try, wow, the thing, you can actually really check it into a corner. It doesn't feel particularly heavy. You can feel that the center of gravity is quite low. The brakes do take getting a little bit of used to. I'll just do one more lap actually. So this corner here is a bit tighter than I expected. Okay, so that's fine. Now in front of me, I got the traditional dial. So what's happened is that the fuel gauge has now turned into the charge thing. And I think the rev is telling me how much its juice is actually using. 30 kilowatt battery, 120 brake horsepower, and gives it a range of about 150 miles on a charge. To be honest, it's up to, so I mean, I can change. So hang on, this is, I don't know what gear I'm in now. I think that's fourth. Okay, so I'm in fourth gear now. That's good. Good, that's the first time I tried changing gear. So I will stop here at the beginning of this straight and let's try a standing start. So this is interesting. So we're on the straight bit now. Don't actually need the clutch to stop. You can just stop, it's no problem. But I'll put the clutch down now to change. Right, I'm not sure what gear that is in, but that's pretty quick. Well, I don't think that is, oh that was second gear actually. That was second gear. That was very, very quick. I don't know what speed we get up to, about 60 miles an hour on this short straight. Now, the center of gravity being quite low keeps the handling pretty good. It's not an issue at all. There's no movement at all of the car because the weight is holding it down quite nicely. But like checking it through the chicane. Okay, I mean, it's really nice. You can almost pivot the car. It's so beautifully balanced. It's really quite good. It's actually quite very well balanced. I think, you know, I haven't driven an actual 356, but dare I say, it might actually be a better performer and better balance than an actual car. So I can, yeah, so it is changing, but when you can actually use it as a normal, yeah, you can. So I can change from fourth to third, and that works. When I come back, I think I might ask him just how to get into that first gear to do that full acceleration run. But so far, this is actually proving quite a joy to drive. Good turning. The balance is really good, you know, it's not a problem. The steering means you do have to know power steering, and I'm sure you could have all of these things, you know, incorporated if you wanted. This is great. And you just hear the whirring of the motor, but you don't get too much else, you know. That's what it's like. Yeah, I mean, again, like I would have the brakes uprated and maybe power steering installed if this was my car, but that's pretty much all I would have done too. But otherwise it's fine, and maybe some artificial noise added, you know, that might be the way to do it. So part two, I've now found where the gears are exactly. Don't need the clutch to take off. Okay, that wasn't actually engaged. Let's try third gear. Yeah, now we're moving. Okay, so when I get to the top of the straight this time, I just had to do a little pit stop to figure out exactly where the gears were, because it was the first time I'd actually changed them on the move, as you saw. When I get to the beginning of the straight this time, I'm going to try and switch it into first gear to see the full impact of the acceleration of an electric motor in a classic car, which is quite extraordinary. I don't think any 356 has accelerated as quickly as this one is about to do. Let's see. Let's see if I can figure this out. Okay, so straight. So let's go clutch down. This is the neutral area. So that should be first. So let's go. Okay, so I don't need to start with the clutch. Here we go. Whoa! Oh my God! Oh, I think the seat has actually moved. Wowzers! The needle's going crazy. Oh my God! I definitely got up to over 60 miles an hour there, no problem at all. But I mean, this is quite hilarious. The fact is that, yeah, no, I don't think any 356 accelerated as fast as that previously, unless it's a race spec one or whatever. This is a regular car. You can drive this on the road. You can drive it for 120 miles an hour. You know, a little bit of movement. I mean, just pivots around that little corner there, and quite nicely done. You know, really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, there you go. You can power on through it. It's absolutely incredible. So how about at slow speed? What is it like at slow speed? Let's stop going crazy, let's drive it at slow speed. Like I said, you can just leave it in third for most of the way around. No sound. I mean, again, it's difficult. It's not, you know, we don't assess this like a new car because it is a classic car. And everything in the car is exactly the suspension, the brakes, the gearbox is exactly as you'd expect it to be. It's the same thing. Only thing that's changed is the battery packs are there, and the motor is now an electric motor, you know. So having said that, I mean, I'm driving it around no problem at all. Inside the car, it's still got everything. Like I said, the only indicator is the fuel gauge has been swapped out. In the glove box, however, there is an electronic display which gives you all the details about the state of the battery and all the rest of it. So that's a useful bit of additional equipment, but it's hidden away. So really, for all intents and purposes, when you look around this cabin, it looks completely standard. There's actually nothing here that would give anything away at all. So let's just do one more lap for the heck of it. We'll leave it in third because third seems to be fine, you know, and then yeah, that's our first experience driving the classic electric car, RetroElectric if you like, you know. Brilliant. Wow, I wasn't expecting, I mean, yes, okay, you do miss, you can really get the power down early, no problem at all. Oh my god, oh my god, this is an actual 356. I have to keep reminding myself I am driving somebody's actual 356, so, you know, maybe, you know, I should be a little bit more contemplative about that. But anyway, the reality is that it makes it daily drivable. It's fine. Yes, the smells are not there. The sound is not there. You know, there's no smell of oil, there's no petrol fumes or anything like that. But everything works on the car and everything is fine. And like I said, I mean, I think I would probably make a few additional changes to it. But other than that, I think it's absolutely fantastic. So there you go. That's my first drive of a classic car that's been converted to electric power. I have to say, you know, I can't see any reason not to do it, apart from if you really, really want the fumes and you really want the sound. But if you just want something that works and drives and actually performs really well, it works. So after my drive in the Porsche 356, which turned out to be a lot more exciting and interesting than I thought, and if you're asking am I swayed, I think, well, I kind of am a little bit. I've now turned up at Electrogenic headquarters to see what they get up to here, how they do this work and what goes into it. I'm going to meet up with Steve Drummond, who's the founder, and he's going to talk me through some of the projects that they're working on, including some interesting tidbits of news which maybe people don't know about yet, and it's going to come out soon. But also he's going to talk me through the actual cars that they have on display like behind me, and some interesting stuff like this Triumph Stag here, if you can make that out. It's got an interesting little extra feature which I think people like me, I think, will quite enjoy.
Welcome to Electrogenic. We're spread over 2 buildings here in Kidlington, and this is the dirty end. This is where we do the metal bashing, the design and development of all of the drivetrains. This is where we do the physical conversion of the cars, and over there, where we take you in a minute, is all the electronics and the clever stuff. So in here at the moment, I can introduce you to 2 cars. This is a Mini. We do 2 versions of the Mini. One has a full gearbox, like this one, so you can go up and down the gears, and that means that it's really, really, really fast. So very cool, very exciting Mini. This one belongs to a Small Car Big City, which is a London-based tour firm, and they're going to be taking lots of American tourists around in a very cool retro but fully electric Mini. This will be the first classic electric car available to hire. Yes, it's in the process of being approved by London Transport, so it's going to be a very cool and very unique experience for the Small Car Big City customers. Over here you see we have a couple of Land Rovers, so we do a lot of Land Rover conversions. There are different technology packages that we put into them. These particular ones we sort of styled as the urban model. These are automatic by design, so no gearbox in these ones. Very quick, very smooth, but relatively economic conversion. The car you see here, the red one, belongs to Worthy Farm. So we had a big Innovate UK program where we were developing our technology in conjunction with Worthy Farm, home of the Glastonbury Festival, where we have had Land Rovers driving around for the last year now, being used by the farmhands every day and carrying on through rain, sun and shine every day in all weathers. It's been a great proving ground. And also in conjunction with Cardiff University, who've been helping to develop the predictive nature of the tech that we put in. So very, very cool program. Where that's taking us is the idea is to provide kits to landowners, so a very inexpensive conversion of a diesel Land Rover to all electric. It has about a 4-year payback, so a real hard economic proposition. So there's a few appeals. One is there's 36,000 farms in the UK that already have renewable energy generation on site, so they have very, very cheap electricity. So you run the Land Rover on electricity versus diesel, you save on Worthy Farms figures about £6,000 a year, which is a big incentive. There are lots of subsidiary incentives. You know, a lot of journeys in a Land Rover on a farm are very short journeys, so it's when the diesel use is particularly high, because the diesel engine is very inefficient for shorter journeys when it's not warmed up. Also, it takes half an hour to warm up so that the heater runs efficiently. So what you find with the farmhands, they're absolutely delighted with the electric ones because you turn the heater on, it works straight away. And there's obviously less maintenance and no road tax, so it's a very good economic proposition. In terms of the way they function, they've got a lot of torque, and they'll do everything you need. This is another development project. This is actually my Series 2A Land Rover. It's beautiful. The cool thing about this is the next development of our tech. You know, so at Electrogenic, it's all our own tech that goes into these cars. We have an expanding range of motor options that we buy in. We buy in the batteries, but everything else that makes the car really nice to drive, makes it charge properly, manages the batteries, has all the driver interfaces and screens, and all of those things is all our own tech, so we can really control and give the customer what they want. The cool thing about this is that we have a whole new series of high voltage electric motors coming through, which means we're going to be able to do very sophisticated conversions, and including CCS, which means that you're going to have very torquey, very quick, very smooth, automatic style Land Rover Series 2, but which you can charge up in an hour at the motorway services if you decide you wanted to, drive from London down to the West Country for the weekend, for example. So another very cool development. Keep your eyes open. We'll ask you to come back and see what you think of it in a few months' time. This side of the Electrogenic paddock, if you like, is all of the electronics, the commissioning of the cars, and also where we have space to have some of our cars lined up to have pretty pictures taken of them. So this is our old Marmite bus. It's famous around here because it's used for running around getting sheet metal and doing all those things that we need to be doing in order to keep the business going. Also famous at the British Motor Show because Paul Swift, we put a quaif diff in the back, and Paul Swift did donuts in it, and made a lot of noise and a lot of fun and a lot of black smoke, which is you don't see often from an electric car. But it's a lot of fun, the Marmite bus. This here is clearly an MGA, so this one actually is sitting here in order to look beautiful. This is a work in progress at the moment for a customer. This is my Karman Ghia, which, as you can see, is also beautiful. This one drives through the gearbox, and in fact do all of the cars in this lineup here today. And it's just a very cool car and a lot of fun to drive. This is the world's first electric Triumph Stag, as attested by the Triumph Stag Owners Club. It belongs to my colleague Ian, and it is bling. Also very nice. It's a bit faster than the original, very cruisy. It's a very nice way of owning a Stag, and you don't have to worry about breaking down anymore. So this one actually is just an interesting point. We did full sound recording of the Stag with the original engine sound, and we've now developed a little chip which you can put in the Stag, and it links basically you have the engine noise on a loop, it links it to the power that you're putting through the throttle pedal, and it recreates the entire driving sound of the Stag, if that's what you want, and including the ignition and when you turn the key off at the end as well. So it's quite a cool thing, nice little toy. And by extension, we can make it sound like anything you like. You know, I'm personally in favour. I want a car that sounds like the Starship Enterprise. This is another beautiful car. This is what we think, we're pretty absolutely sure that this is the only real 356 converted to all electric in the world. And it is an absolute marvel to drive, as you know. Cute thing about it is that although it's very pretty under the bonnet, it's even prettier at the back, because the owner wanted to keep our perspex floor that we put in for a show so that he can show all his friends. But the real thing about it is it just drives like a dream, and it's a really engaging drive, just as it was before, but better. This is currently still the only electric E-Type in the world. You know, the one for Prince Harry it died and it's now in a museum, and nobody else has produced another one that's actually running yet. This handles beautifully. I've had this on the track. It's actually 100 kilos lighter than the original, and so it turns into corners like you wouldn't believe, and it is a dream. It's also very pretty under the bonnet. One of the important things we do at Electrogenic is we want to make the cars that have something that you want to look at, that you want to be involved with. They're beautiful old cars after all. No point in putting something that looks like a septic tank under the bonnet. The idea is beauty to match and display and bring out the beauty of the engineering. As we've been going through these conversations, highlighting that the tech that's going into these is all our own tech. We're buying the motors and the batteries, but all of the tech that makes it an exciting car to drive, this is all ours. And so we're constantly on the lookout for new exciting projects to do. What we get excited about is the things we haven't done yet. We get excited about our development curve, our technology, all the new motors that are coming, all the new things we can start to do with the cars as everything gets more sophisticated. And we need more talent too. So if you have a project, if you have skills and a burning desire to make beautiful cars but all electric, then please give us a shout.
A big shout out and thanks to Jay Williams over at EType, who are my top tier sponsors. Check them out for exhaust, brakes, suspension and even body kits. Also, much appreciation to my tier 4 sponsors Muhammad Ali Ahmed and Tom Conway Gordon, and of course all of these other guys who have joined me on Patreon. Without their support, I can't be creating the content that I am doing. Perhaps you can join them. Head over to patreon.com/browncarguy. Even if you can't do that, make sure you're subscribing and sharing this channel, which of course is youtube.com/browncarguy. Also subscribe to browncarguy.com and follow me on all the socials. Just search for my hashtag, which of course is #browncarguy.